This will be a quick one because I don't want to go too balls deep into it. On the weekend, we had a fighter, Lazzez. He won a decision, 3-rounder. Looked like a good fighter, solid guy. In the post-fight interview, he was asked a question by what looks like your stereotypical CUCK journalist. Let's have a look.
Hi, Munir.
Hey, man.
I think the most important question is, in your post-fight victory speech, you said if it wasn't for Daniel Kinahan, you wouldn't be here. Can you explain what you meant by that?
Pausing it there, Guy's voice is quivering all over the place. He literally is zeroed in on one question and one question only. That's the Daniel Kinahan connection. In the post-fight interview with Daniel Cormier, Munir mentioned his mentor or friend or advisor, Daniel Kinahan. Who is Daniel Kinahan? Daniel Kinahan is the alleged head of a murderous organization with links to boxing targeted by the US government. So basically, I don't know too much about this guy. I guess he's part of the Irish cartel, allegedly. Seems to love combat sports, has his fingers in all the pies. Loads of connections between Tyson Fury, Darren Till, Verdum, now Munir. Loads of people, loads of conspiracy theories about Conor McGregor's connection to this guy. There's no base or foundation for any of these allegations, but they are very interesting to read. I went through them last night a little bit, and it makes for quite interesting reading, and especially the fact that a lot of these conspiracy theories between a conflict between Conor McGregor and this guy, dates and the times and specific instances where Conor McGregor was in contact with people that were apparently lieutenants of this guy, are very interesting to read. That's about as much as I know about the story so far.
That man is a friend and advisor. You know, he's the one when he picked me up when every time the life it kicked me down. He's a real man of his word, and he's the one who teach me what does it mean a real family, a real friend, and it's someone I cannot thank him enough for where I am today and who I am today. He teach me the real manner. He teach me, how to be like responsible in my family, in my friend, in my close one. That's why I said that all the shout out and credit to him.
Are you aware that Daniel Kinahan this week was sanctioned by the US government because he, quote, sources large quantities of cocaine from South America?
No, I don't know that.
Okay, he was sanctioned on Monday by the US government, and on Tuesday there's a $5 million bounty on his head for information that might lead to his arrest.
I think I'm here to entertain people, and I say...
We're talking about a young fighter coming up. I believe he's from Dubai or that area, or that's certainly where he trains. And apparently this Kinahan guy is hanging out in Dubai because of the extradition laws over there. I don't know too much about the criminal aspect of it, but for a guy who seems to be balls deep into combat sport and really does want to help people, put aside everything else just for a second, his links to criminality are disgusting, and so many lives are affected by that sort of criminality and that sort of behavior, should be condemned, goes without saying. But in terms of this guy here, who's been put under the boot by a journalist who, again, as I said earlier, a cuck, an absolute cuck. You go into the comments here and it's just like, come on, man. And look, you go to his page and it tells the story, doesn't it? It tells the story. Boxing and MMA correspondent for The Insider. Boxing writers member. MMA sports finalist accredited type of journalist. So this guy seems to be embedded in the combat sports. Fair play to him. Do your thing, pal. You've got the blue check mark there. But are we going to keep that same energy for every fighter that has connections to criminals in the underworld? Are we going to keep that same energy? Because when we talk about MMA bias and mainstream bias, and I mentioned it a lot, and mainstream media has become a buzzword, an annoying word, to be honest with you, and it's something that I don't like using. It's probably more in line to use words like legacy media, but this guy is a wannabe. He's got a couple of thousand followers, his voice is quivering, and he's pressing some guy who just won a fight. It's like, dude, there's bigger fish to fry. You're talking about it's the most important issue of the week, and it's the only question that you want to ask. As an MMA combat sport journalist, the only question you want to ask is about some Irish gangster. That's the only question that you want to ask. You don't want to talk to Khamzat Chimaev after he called out someone as pernicious and despotic as him in his last fight against Burns when he won. You don't want to do that, no? You don't want to keep that same energy for the cash cow that's Khamzat? Who exactly did Khamzat call out in the aftermath of the Gilbert Burns win? Well, he called out a guy called Ramzan Kadyrov. I did the research on this dude last night. Wow. You would think with the geopolitical situation that we are in now, and every mainstream leech and lackey trying to put the boot down on Russians, that this fucking Al Dawson dude could have talked about that. Would have bumped his career a lot more than going after some lad who just won a fight with no hype around him and no one knows who he is. The only reason people know who he is because you started pushing him last night on a subject that he clearly didn't want to talk about. And I thought that he answered it pretty well. And if you go into the comments, they're probably 50-50. You've got a lot of cucks in there saying, brilliant question, man. This is real journalism. Is it real journalism? Is that real journalism? I would think that you would love to hop on the Khamzat Chimaev train when he dedicated his UFC 273 win to Putin's ally. After a hard-fought victory at UFC 273 over Gilbert Burns, Khamzat Chimaev had seemingly paid tribute to one of Vladimir Putin's close allies, the Chechen president Ramzan Kadyrov. However, in the wake of what's happening in Russia and Ukraine war, it was a tad controversial, to say the least, that Chimaev had seemingly dedicated his victory at 273 to the president Kadyrov, who's supporting Putin and his efforts in the war in Ukraine. Not getting into a conversation about Ukraine and Russia, I think that there's two sides to every story there, and just go and do some research on Zelensky. That's all I say. 1.3 million offshore accounts. That's all I say about him for now. Chimaev says, brother, I know you're at home watching me. Tagging Kadyrov in an Instagram story. I said I'd finish it quickly today. May Allah be pleased with you. Brother, God bless you. I know you're watching me. May Allah be pleased with you. And all Chechens, God bless. As I say, go do the research on this Ramzan Kadyrov guy. He seems to have his fingers in all the pies as well. Pushing this guy after the fight, after he answered the question.
I give the credit to whoever deserve credit. I'm not involved in this kind of stuff. I don't know about it, and I will investigate how it is and how it's go.
But by name dropping Daniel Kinahan, you're kind of legitimizing this figure in combat sports.
By name dropping Daniel Kinahan, you're legitimizing. That's a pre-prepared statement. This guy is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic and indicative of mainstream legacy media infecting the MMA world now. This is what we've got. This is what I keep on talking about. Pathetic.
No, it's not. For me, it's simple thing. It's friend outside the gym. And just I meet him for advice and this, and he helped me through my career. So.
At a press conference in Dublin on Tuesday, police there said, for a message anyone in combat sports who continues to work with him, that they're, and I quote, involved in a criminal network.
This guy is incessant. And as we see in a few seconds, I don't know who it was, but someone from the side or someone that was there in attendance actually had to step in and go, dude, he's answered the question. Have a listen to this.
I don't you know what I mean? I don't follow really this kind of news. I focus in the sport. I focus in my family. I focus and entertain people, and that's the most important,
Okay, there's people online who think that you've undone your win by shouting out Daniel Kinahan.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you. I swear to God, there's people online who think that you've undone your win. What people are you seeing online? You have 5,000 followers. You're seeing nobody except for shills that are following. Fuck you, man. This is bullshit, I swear to God. You're talking about criminality? Dude, have a look around at what's been going on in the world in the last 2 years. Have a look at the criminality, you fucking loser.
Well, why shout out Daniel Kinahan if he doesn't want to talk about Daniel Kinahan? There's people
Any
online.
other question, please?
I feel so bad for him. And this guy, Al Dawson, is over here acting like he's after saving the world or something like that. Dude, get a fucking life, man. To get a fucking life. Clearly is uncomfortable. He answered a question not once, not twice, probably 5 times. And this fucking Al Dawson guy is over here continuously pushing, trying to boost his name, trying to get a little bit of attention, a little bit of media surrounding him. Keep this same energy with the Russian fighters. Keep this same energy with Khamzat. Keep this same energy with the likes of Ali Abdelaziz. Keep that same energy, you cuck. And get the fuck out of here.